And now it's top of the bill time, folks. This is the fight that everybody's been waiting for. The girls have been waiting for it. The crowd have been waiting for it. We've been waiting for it. It's the one that you want to see. It's Jimmy Cann coming up against Glenn Reynolds. Fight 2, that fantastic first fight that they had, 4 rounds, and it came out as a draw. Nobody could choose between them, but now they've got the return, this time over the shorter distance of 3 rounds. Jimmy Cann first into the ring. And here he comes, Glenn, the Menace Reynolds. What a great bout that first one was. The fans wanted to see a return. We all wanted to see a return, and here on Punch Up 3, we got the return. Jimmy Cann being introduced to the crowd doesn't have a lot of support here at this part of South London. But the man who does is Glenn the Menace Reynolds. And as we all know, Jimmy Cann is a slow starter, so maybe this fight's going to suit Glenn Reynolds a bit more. It's over a shorter distance of 3 rounds. So Jimmy has got to start quick. Already been pinned up against the ropes by Glenn the Menace, but he's got that piston style. Shooting from the hip, Jimmy Cann. He's been told he's got to start quicker. He's calling her on to him to start quicker, but already these 2 fighters in another classic encounter. Glenn trying to line up Jimmy on the ropes. Jimmy definitely starting faster this time than he did in the previous fight. Knows he can't afford to hang around over 3 rounds. But the 2 of them already, blow for blow, 2 warriors. Jimmy Cann, the gentleman Jimmy of the ring, Glenn the Menace Reynolds. Glenn got Jimmy in the corner, heads going in flying, and Jimmy's already bleeding from the nose. Once again, very difficult to tell in this first round who's on top, because it ebbs and flows either way. First Jimmy's on the attack, and then Glenn is. Glenn at the moment pinning Jimmy Cann in the corner. Jimmy Cann turns him, goes for the shots to the body. Already reddened all over his white skin at the back by Glenn Reynolds, who's had him on the ropes many times. And there's Glenn battering him on the ropes. Left, right combinations, but Jimmy's back up. He loves this kind of a brawl. Hits him with a clubbing left, but it's blow for blow. Jimmy Cann attacking now. Got Glenn in the corner, up against the ropes. But Glenn firing back, forcing Jimmy back into the middle of the ring. Jimmy Cann bleeding away, but he loves this kind of a brawl. These 2, the Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw of the ring of today. You can't pick them apart. As soon as you think one's getting on top, the other one comes back. Glenn was pushing Jimmy back onto the ropes there, and Jimmy fought his way off. A very tough opening round for the 2 of them. Blow after blow after blow. Our cameras right up there ringside so that you get the best view. See who you can choose as the winner. Jimmy Cann. Combination of punches. Very difficult to know who's taking this first round. Glenn coming back with those swinging left and rights, sometimes leaving him open for the counter like that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unanswered punches, and then Glenn coming back with 4, 5 of his own, 6, 7 of his own, and Jimmy loves it. He's saying, come on, hit me harder. What a cracking bout, living up to the same standard as the first one. And there goes the belt. Well, you heard what they said. They are asking him to step up the pace. They know that he can't hang around and slowly work his way into the fight, but I don't think Jimmy can be accused of that now. Jimmy Cann against Glenn Reynolds. I had that first round even. Here we go, round 2, more of the same. Glenn straight in with an uppercut and a ferocious attack. Jimmy fighting back. Those clubbing left and rights to Glenn's face. Glenn doesn't like to take a backward step. Glenn, the Menace Reynolds, the slightly less disciplined fighter, more of a brawler, up against Jimmy Cann, maybe more solid and resolute, but Glenn, great courage. Man does not like to take a backward step. Had Jimmy back up in the corner there, and once again it's blow for blow. Went with the uppercut. Jimmy came back with a clubbing left to the cheek of Glenn Reynolds, which is starting to redden now. One always wonders about the fitness of Glenn Reynolds. Jimmy Cann, you know, he can fight all day and night. Glenn Reynolds on the first fight was out on his stool, could hardly get up. But he's wearing quite well here now. Pace slackening momentarily, first time in the fight. Both of the fighters taking a bit of a breather, but that won't be for long. Glenn, left, right punches, not quite having the same amount of power, I don't think, as Jimmy's blocking them all. Jimmy reddened everywhere all over his body. He's been up against the ropes so often. Glenn looking slightly more tired now. Jimmy not throwing quite so many punches. And the punches don't seem to have quite the power that they did have. But here, great shots is Jimmy. Pushing Glenn up against the ropes. Body punches. Trying to sap the strength of Glenn Reynolds, but Glenn coming back with those clubbing left and right shots to Jimmy Cann's face. And there's Jimmy back again. It's almost like they're taking it in turns to batter each other. Pouring at each other now. Surely these boys are going to box themselves out. They can't keep up this pace. Round 2. Punch up 3, the return. Glenn the Menace Reynolds up against Jimmy Cann. Jimmy, more body shots again, trying to weaken Glenn. And there goes the bell for the end of the second round. And here's Vanessa. There's Glenn in his corner taking deep breaths. Jimmy Cann, let's see the shape of Jimmy Cann. Blood dripping down his nose, but he's not breathing hard. He still thinks he can take this. I've got him still absolutely even. I don't think you could give the round either way on those first 2 rounds. Whatever happens, it's going to be a cracking third round. Here we go, final round. Jimmy Cann against Glenn Reynolds. Who wants it most? Gentleman Jimmy Cann with Glenn the Menace Reynolds. Feverish attack by Reynolds, forcing Cann into the corner, pinning him there. Blow after blow after blow, and Jimmy Cann fighting off the ropes. Glenn the aggressor in the early parts of the third and final round. But Jimmy always comes back. Those body shots followed by shots to the chin that he's trying to get to the cheek of Glenn Reynolds. Glenn Reynolds always coming back with those uppercuts. What a fantastic fight. These are true warriors of the ring. Glenn looking a bit tired now, missing for the first time with a few of those swinging left and rights. Almost likes to push Jimmy Cann back with an outstretched hand so he can club him with the right. Jimmy fighting off the ropes. Both the boxers are a bit tired now though, they've punched themselves out. This is punch up 3. The second fight between Glenn Reynolds and Jimmy Cann. Jimmy wants it more, sticking his tongue out, the blood dripping down his face, covering up. Both punching themselves out. But Jimmy digging deep into the reserves, and then Glenn coming back. Oh, a chance for Jimmy Cann there. I thought he might have had Glenn slightly in trouble there. Glenn almost out on his feet, but Jimmy just can't nail him. And every time you think Glenn looks like he's out, he comes back with those swinging left and rights. Jimmy Cann having another go there, trying to force Reynolds back. Toe to toe. Crowd going absolutely berserk now in this final round. Who's it going to be? Who's done enough? Jimmy Cann or Glenn Reynolds? I couldn't pick a winner out of these two. It seems to be even closer than the first one. And that's the end. The bell goes, the crowd on their feet cheering. Another amazing exhibition of courage in the ring. Jimmy Cann thinks he's done enough. It'll be down to the referee, Russell Watson, and the judges. Jimmy Cann thinks he's taken it. Certainly went off a bit more energetic at the start, but I don't think I can give it to anybody. Glenn Reynolds, tired, but courageous. Who's it going to be? I don't think the referee, Russell Watson, knows. We're going to find out the official result coming up now. Any moment the crowd Huge suspense. They want to know who is the winner, who is the king of South London, Jimmy Cann or Glenn Reynolds. Let's find out. My money's on a draw.
Hey Glenn, how about that again?
Tremendous fight, 3 rounds. Referee scored this contest again.
It had to be. You couldn't pick between the two of them. Jimmy Cann thought he'd won it. Glenn Reynolds thought he'd won it. The crowd and I probably thought it was a draw, but Jimmy Cann, he's grabbed the belt and he's heading out. No, he's come back in. And there's Glenn on his stool and the two boys going together to congratulate each other. So they'll have 2 belts made.
You know why I respect you more this fight? Because you didn't headbutt, you didn't kick.
Jimmy Cann, a word of appreciation to Glenn Reynolds. Like the fact that Glenn didn't resort to some of the underhand tactics he did in the first fight.
Hey everybody out there, I hope you enjoyed the fight as much as I did. All respect to Glenn Reynolds and even his supporters. Thank you very much and good night.
Well, it's all set up for the big fight number 3. There's got to be a decider. Somebody's got to win in the end. Hope you enjoyed it. That was Punch Up 3. We'll be back with Punch Up 4. My name's Vic Marchant. Have a good night.